Okay, right then, John. So for the second part, and as a backup to, or in addition to session 11, observation, professional discussion, we're now going to have a professional discussion just based on some of the criteria. So we've done the observation to dealing with difficult customers, and now we're going to look at some of these bits as well. So, John, what's your understanding of health and safety in the workplace? And can you give us some examples of how you manage health and safety, and how you're encouraged by your company to make sure you're applying everything for health and safety?
Well, I've got a NEBOSH in health and safety in the workplace. So there was an incident here, which obviously I got with cleaners that were coming in and saying that someone slipped over. Yeah. So obviously I had to check the cameras and obviously look at and do an incident report. But as the incident report, obviously the person, I think they wanted to just claim compensation. They were just wearing like slippery sort of trainers. Yeah. So obviously when I gave my report into my security management, I did make the recommendation. I said, is it possible if you ask the cleaning company if their operatives have, when they provide them uniforms, do they provide them footwear as well? Yeah. Luckily, they sent a report back of that. They give them adequate footwear, which is obviously quite slip resistant, because obviously where they're going to be providing the loading bays. And obviously it was actually that person that slipped that made the complaint wasn't wearing all their correct personal protective equipment. So obviously that got put to bed, because obviously the onus fell on that person who was a lone worker who didn't have a supervisor. They were supervising themselves, and they chose on when they work at the site not to wear their equipment on site. So obviously that was good to have knowledge of that, of people's equipment that they have to do. And also when I arrived at site, there wasn't adequate lighting in the back staircase. And also there was no signage of the floors on the other back staircase, which you didn't actually see. Next time on site, I can show you. And this is for if the fire brigade ever have to enter the building, when you're running up the stairs, you need to know obviously where floor you're on, first, second, third, or fourth. So obviously that was added to the building. That was after I'd done my first patrol of the building. That's the recommendations I made to my security management team.
Okay, excellent. So with health and safety in the workplace, so you've demonstrated that you're vigilant with health and safety. You're very much aware of it. It's a big part of your job role, what you do. So within health and safety, we look at things like safeguarding, John, looking after the welfare and well-being of others around you, including yourself. You also look at risk assessment, for example. So that might have been an issue after the slip, the slip incident. So how do you know about health and safety in your workplace, John? Is it in a staff handbook, or do you have to go through it during induction, or do you have regular meetings to update you with it?
No, they just have their own regular health and safety book here. It's in the assignment instructions, and obviously I'm the lone worker here, so just the onus will just fall on me then, because obviously that's my qualification. So anything to do with legislations or health and safety at work acts, that will just be updated by myself.
Okay, no problem. Excellent. Okay, so next we're going to talk about equality and diversity, John. So this is a subject we talk about quite a lot in a lot of our sessions. Mm-hmm. So what's your understanding of equality and diversity? What do you think it is?
Obviously, diversity is that where we're working in London is one of the multicultural cities in Europe. So not everyone's going to come from the same faith or background. So I obviously discovered this with working with quite a few people from the Muslim faith who practice Ramadan. And when I was working on night shifts, they explained that it's better for them to go on a break at a certain time, and it worked out great, because it meant that I went on break earlier in the night, which I preferred doing anyway, because obviously on night shifts, on our breaks, we're going to be sleeping, like sometimes obviously to recuperate for all our services and the thing. So actually, then it ended up that the guy that I was working with preferred his break later. So it was a blessing in disguise, working with someone, then learning something about a new culture, and then helping each other out, and then making our, when we were working on the same team together, making our shifts and work in uniform a bit better as well.
Okay, excellent. So that's, John, that's a really good example of how of inclusion as well, and how you try to promote inclusion and try to create a really inclusive workspace. by respecting and accepting everybody's faiths and beliefs, and really understanding what's important to them. So by not going out of your way as such, but understanding what they need and kind of working with them to do that. I'm sure they were appreciative of you doing that. But that's a really good example of how you can create a really inclusive workplace by being welcoming and accepting and respecting everybody, treating everybody with respect and treating everybody fairly. This is a big thing, isn't it? Equal opportunities. So it's not necessarily treating everybody the same, because not everybody wants to be treated the same, but recognizing how you can treat everybody fairly and applying that in every situation possible. Excellent. Okay. Next one, John, is prevent. So again, I think through Bidvest, you've done training on this, on prevent, like online safety.
Yeah, so to get an SIA license, basically, used to be you just go for like a door supervision course. It's about a 5-day course and just like self-defense provisions, basically. But now to obtain that, you need to do 2 courses with regards to counter-terrorism to obtain an SIA license. So delivered like workplace and monitored. That's a good thing that every person that works in the security industry in the UK now does have to complete this online course to obtain the badge. So that would make people in their workplace safer as well, knowing that people are trained in counter-terrorism as well, so they can spot like hostile reconnaissance sort of thing, like people asking questions and the way people talk a bit differently. You can pick up on things sooner and then deliver it to your line managers to keep everyone safe at work. Okay,
excellent. So that's a really good example of your understanding of it and how it gets applied in a workplace situation as well. Okay, excellent. Well done, John. I'm just going to stop the recording there so we can upload that as well.
Okay.